Hi, this is Skip Stewart, Chief Improvement Officer for Baptist Memorial Healthcare. Today we're going to be talking about training within industry. Now there's different elements with training within industry. There's job relations, there is job methods, but what we're going to talk about today is job instructions. And I'm with Kelly Tracy, Nurse Manager here at NEA Baptist. Kelly, what job are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about the second part of our job breakdown around scope cleaning.
Okay. And one of the things that people don't understand sometimes is why we do TWI. What we're trying to do with TWI job instructions is we're trying to create a standard behavior. But specifically, we're trying to create a standard behavior to move us towards a target condition. So many times as we investigate our current condition, we discover that there are many people doing a task different, and that variation is causing errors and mistakes. And so we need a standard behavior to move us towards a target condition. What was the target condition that we were trying to move towards?
Our target condition, we actually had seen an increase in overtime because we found out through many trials that we needed more nurses here that could actually clean the scopes after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So this was our way of training more nurses to be able to clean the scopes properly.
So you were trying to create that standard behavior to move us towards that target condition.
Right.
Fantastic. So one of the things that you're about to see in the video is you're going to see two different things. You will see a blue card that they will use as their standard. They will look at it often, and you'll see a breakdown of the job. What we do in the breakdown is we demystify the job. We break it down into important steps, key points, and reasons for the key points. We're feathering that into the learner's brain a little bit at a time. So now let's go ahead and go look at the job.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the job. We're going to go over the 3 important steps first. Important step number 1 is placing the scope in the Steris and connecting the hoses. Important step number 2 is to run the Steris. Important step number 3 is to remove and hang. Rochelle. So I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go over the 3 important steps and then the key points to each of those important steps.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, important step number 1 was to place the scope in the stairs and connect the hoses. Key point number 1 is hold your heads together with the knobs down. Okay. Key point number 2 is wrap your ends and hold. Key point number 3 is entire length inside the tray. Okay, key point number 4 is connect left and right. And key point number 5, follow the diagram. Important step number 2 is to run the stairs. So key points in that are attach the indicator strip, number 2 is insert cup and push all the way down. Key point number 3, put the cap all the way down. Important step number 3 is remove and hang. So key points are number 1, to flush both sides 90 cc's of alcohol. Key point number 2, flush both sides with 90 cc's of air. All right, and key point number 3 is to write the serial number, date, and initials on tag. Okay, Rochelle, now I'm going to do it this 3rd time, and we're going to go over the important steps, the key points for each important step, and then the reasons for those key points. Okay, so important step number 1, place scope in stairs and connect hoses. Key point number 1 is hold your ends together with the knobs down. Reason, it's easier to place. Key points number 2, wrap ends and hold. Reason being, it doesn't damage. Key point number 3, entire length inside tray. Reason being, it won't flood the room. Key point number 4, we're going to connect the left and right. Reason is proper fit. Key point number 5 is to follow diagram. Reason for that, proper function. Important step number 2 is to run stairs. Key points are attach the indicator strip. Reason for that is to check your process. Okay, key point number 2 is to insert cup and push it all the way down. Reason for that, so it won't come out. Key point number 3 is to put the cap all the way down. Reason for that is also won't come out. Okay, so last important step is to remove and hang. Key point is we're going to flush both sides with 90 cc's of alcohol. Reason, it will dry out better. Key point number 2 is to flush both sides with 90 cc's of air. Reason is it will get alcohol out. Okay, key point number 3 is to write serial number, date, and initials on the tag. Reason for that is it'll be easy to find. Okay, Rochelle, so I performed the job for you, going over just the important steps and the key points, and then the important steps, key points, and the reasons for those. So now I want you to demonstrate the job, naturally. Just go through, you don't have to talk me through it, just do it by yourself, okay? Okay. Okay, Rochelle, so that was a good job. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to have you go ahead and do it again, but we're only going to talk about the important steps. So I want you to say the 3 important steps for me.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
So step 1 is to place the scope in the stairs and connect the hoses. And step 2 is to run the stairs. And then step 3 is to remove the scope from him.
Okay, Rochelle, so I'm going to have you do it for a 3rd time. And so this time I want you to, again, talk about the 3 important steps, but I also want you to talk about the key points to each of those important steps, okay?
So the first step is we're going to place the scope inside the stairs and connect the hoses. And the first step is we're going to wrap our scope and have the knobs down, and then we're going to hold them together. So I'm going to place them in the tray. We're going to make sure that the entire length is inside the tray. Okay, we're going to connect our left and right. So step 2 is we're going to run the stairs. Then step 3 is to remove and hang. And we're going to flush both sides with 90 cc's of alcohol. We're going to flush both sides with 90 cc's of air. Serial number, our initials, and the date on the tag.
Okay, Rochelle, so this is going to be your last time to do it. And so I want you to put it all together. I want you to do your 3 important steps and talk about the key points in each step and then the reasons for each of those key points.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So our first important step is to place the scope in the stairs and connect the hoses. And we're going to wrap the scope with the knobs down and hold it, and that makes it easier to place. And then we're going to wrap our ends together to make sure it doesn't get damaged. And when we place it, we're going to make sure the entire length is inside the tray. that's
what's the
going
reason
to
for that?
ensure that it will not leak. And then we're going to connect our left and right for a proper fit. And then we're going to follow the diagram for proper functioning. And then important step number 2 is to run the Steris, and we're going to place the indicator strip to ensure proper functioning. And then we're going to insert the sterilant cup, pushing it all the way down so it doesn't come out. And then we're going to attach the lid, pressing it all the way down to make sure it doesn't come out. And then step 3 is to remove and hang the scope. And first we're going to flush both sides with 90 cc's of alcohol. This is going to ensure that it dries better. And then the second step is we're going to install 90 cc's of air in each side. And this is to make sure that we get all of the alcohol out. And then we're going to write our serial number, initials, and dates on the tag. And this is to make sure that we can find it better.
Okay, so you did really great. You went over each of the important steps, the key points, and the reasons for those key points. How do you feel about it?
I feel confident.
You feel
I
confident?
feel like this has helped.
Okay, so with that being said, I think tomorrow on the schedule, I'm going to go ahead and put you back here to clean and sterilize the scopes. As far as people to help you out, if you have any questions or anything, Rosemary's going to be in GI 1 and Stacy will be in GI 2. So you can ask them for any questions, and then I will check up with you at the end of the day to make sure everything went well.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
All right.
So you're seeing some great examples of TWI, training within industry, job instructions. What you want to remember is TWI is a countermeasure. You have TWI job instructions, job relations, job methods, and they work together as a countermeasure to move us towards a target condition. I call them a subsystem within our management system. Each one of them has a set of tools, but TWI job instruction specifically is trying to create a standard behavior to move us forward. It's an experiment. Initially, we have to road test it to see if it'll work, but after we've gotten the bugs worked out, we then start to train and develop people. But the premise of TWI job instructions, everything sits upon the statement that if the worker hasn't learned, the instructor hadn't taught. If the worker hasn't learned, the instructor hadn't taught. So the onus is really on the instructor to do a good job of training. So hopefully that brings a little more clarity about training within industry job instructions.